Welcome to Sabor Astrology with T and Shay, a podcast for the soul. Today we'll be talking about the current cosmic energies, and I'd love to pass out the answer to T with the transits of the week.
Thank you, Shay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. So we have quite a few things going on this week, transits that are actually they're all connected, right? Because we're all connected. The first one I will talk about is the Sun enters Taurus on the 19th,
Hmm.
and that's my sun sign. So I got very excited to see that. So the sun enters Taurus and it shines a light on the beauty of our earth. The symbol for Taurus is the bull, and Taurus is the fixed earth sign. And the glyph reminds us of how profound the divine feminine is if we allow it to enter into our lives. And that's all available. It's available to us all, whatever your male, female, masculine, feminine characteristics, fluidity, it's unshakable. Taurus people are known to be steady, dependable, they're moved by a sensual beauty. Taurus is ruled by the planet Venus, and Venus brings us love, money, resources, and has this loyalty to what it honors, and it's a yin energy. On the flip side, Taurus can people can be seen as stubborn, and they can be experienced like bulls in the china closets. And I see this as when Taurus upsets the status quo, when Taurus sees things are ready to change, when things don't resonate with honoring the Earth Mother, they're ready to, it's just like it can't stay, it has to go boom. And then they use their horns because enough is enough. So I just see like this slow, steady, okay, okay. And then suddenly it's like, nope, we're not going to accept this. Change happens. And they use their taunt, their horns to dig in. They use their hooves to stomp. And there can be like massive destruction with Taurus there, but from a deep, deep place. But that's not usually what we experience. You leave me, I'll leave you, right? That's the kind of but it's just so much deeper now, especially with the other transits that we'll be talking about in a minute. So yes, Shay, what do you got to say about Sun entering Taurus?
First off, I love that season. We start to really see changes in Earth. We see the cherry blossoms blossoming. We see the Earth changing, peeking out into the world as it's being resurfaced, right? We're changing the cycle, we're changing what is coming in. And Taurus, as a sign, as a fixed earth sign, it brings this aspect, especially with the sun being the sun being in Taurus, this vitality around stability, you know, really keeping things solid, keeping things grounded, and above all, building upon things. So it gives this energy of stability, and it is a sign in the middle between cardinal and mutable, the movable and the leader, and it's here to really maintain everything within its foundation. Um, Especially with Taurus, it's there. People with the sun in Taurus, moon in Taurus, or rising in Taurus have been impacted as these major planets, Uranus and Jupiter, have been in the sign for so long, and it will continue to kind of help us evolve as people with the signs, with these planets in the sign of Taurus. So it brings us again Venusian energy. I personally have a lot of people that are Taurus, and they're one of the most sweetest, most stern people I know, but I love them because they show the world how to be stable. They want people to be stable, not only themselves, and they're ruled by Venus. So it's important for them to feel secure, to know, especially with a moon in Taurus, the security that comes in love and also in finances. So there's a lot of great things that we can learn from from the sun in Taurus. It's beaming its light there for us. And some people that I personally know that have the sun in Taurus also bring in great charisma to the world and are great teachers. They're like the archetype of the Hierophant in the tarot. They're here to guide, they come with certain values and certain ways of thinking. But then again, on the opposite end of that is being too grounded, right? That is not able to move. Like Earth is kind of frozen. And it's important for anyone with the sign, whether it's rising or moon or sun, to understand that change is okay, especially with Uranus in the sign. Like change is there for us in the cycle that we're in. So happy birthday to all my dear Tauruses. I love you all very much. And Taurus, so and I have a Taurus moon, so there'll be a lot of good things for us this season.
Yeah, this is so nice. I love what you said there, and yes, happy birthday to all the Taurians um that are listening to this. Which leads us right into talking about, and I didn't know how to disconnect any of these transits. So I'm kind of giving it all in one spiel. So Jupiter in Taurus, as we've been talking about, conjuncts Uranus in Taurus, and this is from the 20th. This happens on the 20th, this exact conjunct. And Mars in Pisces sextiles Uranus and Taurus from the 18th to the 20th. So it's right before that. And then the Sun in Taurus squares Pluto in Aquarius from the 20th to the 22nd. So we have all these energies going on. And I'll talk about how I see that happening in the world. So, like, I'm thinking here in the Northeast, I mean, there's been earthquakes in Taiwan and so forth. And actually, last night, Iran sent some missiles to is Israel. Like there's just so much political upheaval. There's wars going on, and everyone is just kind of like moving along with all of these earth-shattering energies. So, I just want to recognize that as I talk about what's going on here. So, on the heels of the earthquakes and both the lunar and solar eclipses, we now turn to Jupiter and Taurus on the 20th. Jupiter conjuncting Taurus. So whatever, I mean, Jupiter is in Taurus and it conjuncts Uranus. I'm sorry. So whatever disruptions that are taking place are going to be exacerbated from my perspective. They're going to be magnified by Jupiter's energy, which is one, though, of wisdom, in addition to the expansion. So that's the thing to look for. What is the wisdom in this energy that I'm experiencing right now? As humans, we may not be happy with the power of the change. However, we do know that there has to be that before reconstruction takes place, we have to have decay and destruction. And right before this transit, we experience Mars and Pisces sextiling Uranus. And Mars and Pisces can bring a feeling of ambivalence, a dreamy-like atmosphere to the hard questions and the answers. But know that Mars in Pisces is empathetic and has an underlying means of foundation of kindness. And that is the lead in to that empathy, that kindness, but it's also a warrior, right? It's Mars. Um, Leads right into the conjunction. And all of this is happening as Sun in Taurus is squaring Pluto in Aquarius. Uranus and Pluto are slow moving outer planets and they represent generations, not only the individual people, like there's, um, Mercury, Venus, Mars is what we look at in terms of personal planets. Um, but we are affected, right? Because we are the cosmos. We are, as above, so below. Like, if we bring that perspective to it, we are going to experience these happenings. So Uranus brings like the Promethean sense, right? That Promethean sense of sudden change, total unexpected occurrences. And Pluto brings powerful endings and beginnings. So you might see the upheaval in your personal life because the cosmos and the individual patterns, they're synchronistic. Um, so, remember, as above, so below, that is prime here during this week. And that, I'll take it to, you know, above and below, within and without, all the paradoxes, we're all whole. That's the thing here. It's not that you can separate anything out of this. So could we hold the energy of the stars within our beings? We are the celestials on earth, and it's important to think of that. It's just not the stars or the stars. We are all the stars. So this week, with all of this energy that has been brewing for a long time and is like coming to a head, I'm gonna say, take care to rest, nap, read, meditate. If that's what you're hearing, like just take in, do that, take quiet walks, do something that's restful for your soul this week as all this energy is going on. I kept thinking, you're usually the one that brings up foods. I don't know if you had thoughts to bring this, but I was thinking of making a sancocho, right? Fill with root vegetables, chicken, beef, whatever it is. It's like that soup that just like nourishes the soul, right? It brings your tradition, it brings your culture. And that soup is made in like so many different cultures and traditions. It's just not, one particular one. So go for it. If that's what you're feeling, go for it, because that's going to bring you rooted, right? Eat your root vegetables, you're going to be rooted. And also I was thinking, it might be a good time to read that old copy of that book, Chicken Soup for the Soul, like what's gonna do the thing to make me feel better. And I remember hearing something about like Sancocho for the Soul, and I was looking that up to see if that was actually a book, but I didn't find it. So if anyone knows that that's a book, like take it down off your I know that there's been a lot of poetry written on it, and that at some point there was a poetry, but it wasn't about called Sancocho something, but not Sancocho for the Soul. So anyway, so that's what I've got. That's a lot. There were a lot of different pieces, but know that you can be at peace, know that you can be at rest, know that you can call in the calmness when things are chaotic, when things are breaking down around you. But it's a practice,
Mhm.
right? It's a practice. Like we just like don't get there because I feel like it today. I'm gonna want this. No, I'm gonna keep practicing. But each time you do it, it does work and it just builds upon itself. So that's what I've got. What do you got, Shay?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a when Mars gets involved, right, with all these energies, it's like it activates every other major planet. So it's activating some sort of action that we all as a collective either have to take or choose to take, or are, I don't want to say the word forced, but are encouraged to take, especially with Mars and these bigger planets. And with Jupiter and Uranus, it's like it's super activated when Mars is playing a part here. It's giving us the extra to do the things that we have to do. But I'm also getting for us an imagery of feeling like our foundations, like things are just like what we had built starts to dismantle a little bit. And as this is a society, as an individual, the things that we have thought that is the right thing to build actually becomes like the earth is just like, I don't want this. Like this, there has to be a change. And there's this part of this moment in time where there's this silence or this pause to look around at what we have, to look around at how are we impacted? And that can be what encourages all of us as a collective to do something about it. And this can look different for everyone, and it might not affect everyone, it might not show up for everyone this way, but there is that need that the earth, it just feels like the earth is getting really tired of certain things happening, and it's gonna wake us up and say, hey, we need to make some changes here. Yeah, and it's very powerful. And anytime Pluto gets involved as well, it's just like it's gonna be this major transformation that we're all gonna be facing as a collective, right? And it's in Aquarius. So it's just like it's not easy. It's not, it's like that square is not, where are we meeting in the center? Where are we compromising here? And right now there's been a lot of almost like decisions, especially from those in power, lingering in the air that hasn't been brought down to earth, that hasn't been manifested in a way that is for the greater good of the society. And I feel like that can really shape and shape us differently moving forward. There's a lot of changes that are happening there. So we all might feel like things are in the air, but as things come more real, we start to take action on how we want that to look like in our personal lives. We can't do anything about the higher ups because that's their way of doing things, but we can individually take action. And Mars is activating all of that for us. Um, it's important at this time, like T mentioned, and we've been talking about this meditating, finding ways to practically get rooted, to get centered, to not get bogged down by the chaos around. And I've been telling this to people too, like don't like there is gonna be stuff around, but how are you gonna handle that? How are you gonna cope with that is important. And as a society, how do we choose to cope with that? These changes. So take care of the soul, like T mentioned, take care of the inner world. Um, so then we can take care of getting the nervous system, like us as a collective our nervous system have been messed up. And it's important for us to connect to literally our nerves, our hormones, our body, so we can feel grounded and not disgruntled or like just shook about things that are changing around us as a collective. So yeah, so Mars is shaking up some stuff, activating some stuff for us this time around. Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to talk about again like a mix here. Venus in Aries conjuncts Chiron in Aries, the 20th to the 21st, and right behind that, Venus in Aries conjuncts Mercury in Aries from the 21st to the 23rd. And the information that downloaded for me was that, Venus energy is assertive. And Venus energy wants us to work on those inner wounds that might have been brought to the surface during this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. This is the time to ask yourself, have I gone to therapy yet? If I haven't, what am I waiting for? Have I taken that situation and burned that situation away in a sacred fire? Sometimes we're told, write things on a piece of paper, burn it, bury it, there's therapy, and then there are also spiritual ways of deleting or erasing or healing through processing to get to the other side. Um, and also like contemplating, what have I done to walk my walk? I remember, in the 70s, I was like, are you walking your talk? And, all of that. And, that's what we called it, and sometimes we just talk the talk. Sometimes we don't actually do the things that we want to be doing or we are meant to be doing. But now we're in these energetic cycles that are different, that are asking us, if not now, when? Nothing is promised to us, but we can move toward the healing that we deserve. I'm seeing that, like, especially if when you were growing up, if you weren't provided with a healing environment, you could do this now. Like, you don't have to stay stuck on that. Create the beauty that you deserve in your life. Don't wait for someone else's permission. Sometimes we mistakenly believe that someone is going to heal us and make us feel better. And that is true to a certain extent, right? Because we're not doing any of this alone. We're doing this with others. But just like, your mother might have rubbed Vicks on your chest, the wounds that are inside of your chest, those belong to you. And those belong to the healing that you so deserve. So I'm seeing this energy of Venus bringing love. I mean, usually I'm thinking of money, art, all of those things. Right now, in this place and time, I'm seeing it as bringing the love and bringing the love to yourself that you so deserve. That it's never too late to pick up and work on and wherever you happen to be, right? So you could get a referral for therapy or counseling, couples counseling, whatever that is. You can do some sacred ritual, that it's always on that spiral of like, where am I now? What is the level that I'm at now? What can I do for myself now? Because it's in Aries, right? Although Aries is always going to be opposing Libra, which is, across the field on the zodiacal wheel, right? So it's us with others, but where does it start? I have to start it with me. So, yeah, I'm going to think about this myself and look at where I need to be right now. Like, what is it that I need to do for myself to heal that, whatever that thing is that I have inside of me, that I can only know by, sitting in meditation, by looking at my patterns to see what are the things that are always coming up for me, right, as a person. So that's what I've got.
Mm. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, T, because Venus as the archetype of showing us our sense of worth and really living that sense of worth and who we are comes into play, especially with Chiron. It's like Chiron is pulling that out. And it's like you have to accept, right? We have to accept certain things about, who we are then and what we are worthy of and what are we loving in ourselves? Because some of those wounds are wounds that we're not accepting that are part of us. Those things that we need to come to realize that they're just part of us. And now how can we work through it? We can't go into the past and fix it, but we can work on it now and move forward in the lessons that come up for us. So I'm getting for us also with family, like what has been coming up in terms of family systems and what wounds have been around that for us as a collective and as an individual, because we're speaking about Venus as a personal planet here, that we're willing now to change or willing to get out from and heal. Or, T mentioned something that was important around, sometimes we have to do the things that we're saying, right, to ourselves first. And I get when I speak to a lot of people, they're doing the work for others, but not for the self. So this is where Venus can really play a part in realizing what is needed for the self, and Chiron showing you how to do it. So they play this major connection with each other. And this can go with family systems, with what you consider to be family and self-worth. Also what has been wounded around possessions and earning things and having things, right? What has been there for us, and love and all these beautiful things. But this again, because it speaks of Aries, it speaks of the self of the one. What are we afraid that can come up for us, especially all these major planets surrounding this particular transit that we need to finally come to agree with and heal. And that's all that I got for this transit.
Yeah, that I was thinking, yeah, that's so like right on. I was thinking of that old saying, physician, heal thyself, right?
Yeah, we have to do that for the self. If you have the tools and you can do it, and even if you don't have the tools, you always have to do it on the self. That is where it starts. If we're not dealing with things as a human, as a person, we're not learning. And life is about learning. It's about expanding, even if the things that we have to learn are hard, right? That is where we can move forward. So that's just some wisdom, personal wisdom from
Yeah.
things that I've learned. All right, so that's all that we have for this week. We have an announcement for this community for all the viewers. We are thankful for you. It's been a wonderful year of, just expanding, healing, laughing, crying, talking to all of you. about the weekly transit, the Sabor of astrology for the week. T and I have decided to take a long hiatus from Sabor Astrology. We will still be available to you to support you on your journey. Just contact us directly. And we need this hiatus. There's a lot that we are going through that is helping us expand and a lot of changes. And stay tuned to us individually. And again, if you need support, find us. So yeah. And T, there's anything that you want to share?
Yeah, I do. First of all, thank you, Shay. You've been awesome. My God, I love working with you. And during this hiatus, this is going to be the hardest, is not to meet with you weekly to do this podcast. And, I've learned so much, I've gotten so much out of it. And I hope all of you have too, all of you listeners. And we don't know where it's gonna move, where it's gonna shift. We're both like, we have Taurus big in our charts, right? Shay has her moon, I have my sun in Taurus, and with this conjunction, there's gonna be change. And the change that we're feeling right now is that we need to take a step. We need to take a stop. We need to take a pause, and we're honoring that. So, for us to, I guess this is us, like we were just talking about walking our talk, right? Like if we are these celestial beings on this planet, we have to listen to what it is that we're being told. And we're being told to just like take a rest, take a nap, right? Just sit. But simultaneously, as Shay just mentioned, we are available. I am at, teresavarela.com for any, virtual sessions that you might have, um, for channeling, the mediumship, for, the tarot, and absolutely for astrology, which is my joy, which is why we've been here for the past year, which is awesome and amazing. And it really shows, I think, for me, as to like what happens when you have a dream and you have a thought and then you can actually do it. It's like, oh, that is just so wonderful, so it's very liberating. And that's the thing, is for all of us to, become liberated, and to be able to pursue those things that spirit has meant for us.
Mm.
So it's with joy that I'm saying we're going on hiatus, although, there is that glimmer of sadness, but today I'm choosing to be in the joy, feeling the feelings, but going forward.
Everyone. So we will see you sometime. And con mucho, mucho sabor, sabor astrology. Thank you.